Week 5 is here, and it's time to make our picks against the spread. I gained some ground on you. Last week, I went 3-2, got my all in. I'm now 8-12 on the season versus you're 9-11. You lead me by 1 point, 15-14. We will see if there is some separation this week, my friend. Someone is getting a steak dinner at the end of the year for free. I hope it's me. Bears at the Commanders. Commanders favored by 6 points at home, my friend.
I'm going to take the Bears +6 here. They're coming off of their best performance of the year, Justin Fields' best performance of his career probably last week. I think they're going to move some of that in to this week and put on a really good matchup against the Commanders, albeit on a Thursday night primetime game that many people probably won't watch. Bears +6 here, I feel confident.
And you think they're going to take over the mojo, move it from week to week. You're missing a key point, though, in that they played Denver last week. Everybody scores points against Denver. Everyone looks good against them. Justin Fields looked like the MVP against Denver, and somehow they still lost the game. I don't love giving up the 6 points. I almost never take teams where I have to give up a lot, but I'm going to take the Commanders to win the game and to cover because I don't think they're good, but the Bears are so bad. I think the Commanders find a way to cover the spread, and maybe Matt Eberflus is gone after this week. Who knows?
We can only hope.
Yeah, maybe. The Houston Texans, the surprise of the season, C.J. Stroud balling out, setting records and not throwing interceptions. Texans head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, the feisty Falcons. Falcons are actually favored at home here by 2 points.
Yeah, I think the Texans played too good last week, and they've really impressed me. C.J. Stroud has, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. This whole team has really just done a lot better than I anticipated. Matter of fact, they would have been my most surprising or most impressive take of the season so far if we hadn't talked about them last week already. I think that the Texans, I'm going to take them +2 here. I think they wind up beating the Falcons. And, their defense is good enough to hold off Desmond Ridder. And I think that their offense is high-powered enough to score on this, I think middle-of-the-road Atlanta defense. I don't think they're a prime defense anymore. I think they're probably middle of the road, and I think C.J. Stroud can exploit them on a lot of deep passes and a lot of across the middle where Atlanta seems to be a little bit weak.
You think he's going to pick them apart, basically?
Oh, like chicken on a Sunday.
Okay. I think this could be a game where the Texans lose. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think the Texans are going to win, but this is one of those games where it can flip-flop. You mentioned some of the rookies and young players on the offense. I'm going to mention some on the defense. Will Anderson has been a revelation. I was critical of that trade up to go get him. Turns out it's working out really well. The linebacker from Alabama, Henry To'oTo'o, has been really good as well. So I think they're going to give Desmond Ridder a lot of trouble. The only way the Falcons are going to find some offense in this game is if they start Taylor Heineke and the crowd starts chanting. That's always a possibility. However, until I see it, I'm going to take the Texans plus the points and to win outright. Eagles at the Rams. Eagles came off a struggle with the Commanders last week, and the Rams squeaked by in overtime against the Colts. This is probably the second game I've got circled on my calendar this week. Eagles -4 heading to Los Angeles.
I'm going to take the Rams +4 here. You mentioned it earlier that the Rams were a much better team than we thought they should be. They have the coolest wide receiver name lineup in the NFL. And not only are those names cool, those guys are also really cool on the field. And with Kyron Williams behind center or behind Matt Stafford, that they're going to play really good football. They have a really good shot at winning this game and making it an upset for the Eagles, especially with it being at home. And the Eagles never play super well on the road anyway. They always play close games. So that's why I'm going to take the Rams +4 here. I feel pretty confident in it. And I feel like Matt Stafford knows what he's going to do to the Eagles to bring home a W.
I'm changing my pick on you. I'm going to take the Eagles to win the ballgame and to cover because the more I thought about it, wow, the wide receivers of the Rams are dangerous. And while there is a chance they exploit the weak secondary of Philadelphia, very good chance it happens, the X factor of the game to me is the Philly defensive line. We know how elite that defensive front is, and look at what the Bengals defensive front did to the Rams. I think Jalen Carter and company is going to harass Matt Stafford all day long. They might knock him out of the game before 4 quarters are up. I don't think he's going to be able to make a lot of plays, and Jalen Hurts will make enough to elevate them. The 4 points worries me, but that defensive line is going to be dominant. I don't think the Rams can block them. Give me the Eagles to win and to cover the spread. My Kansas City Chiefs heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings after a close game with the Jets. Both teams coming off a win, interesting enough. Chiefs favored by 4 points on the road against Kirk Cousins and company, looking to get their second win of the season.
I'm not even going to talk about home field advantage here because the Vikings get booed more at their own stadium than any other stadium they visit. So I just solely think I'm going to take the Vikings +4 here because the Chiefs struggle offensively to keep up. The Vikings are a high-powered offense. The Chiefs' defense is really good, but Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, they connect a lot. And Kirk Cousins is a pretty good quarterback as far as like getting points on the board. He's just not clutch. So I'm not saying that the Vikings win this game by any means, but I am going to take them +4 here because I think they can keep it close with the Chiefs.
You said the Chiefs struggle offensively. They really don't. This is almost a false narrative. They're just not scoring 40 points. They're only scoring 20 and 30. Ooh, God forbid. I think, and the Vikings defense is atrocious. Everyone puts up points on them, similar to like Denver and Chicago. The Chiefs offense is going to look like it did against Chicago. I don't think the Vikings have a chance in hell at stopping Patrick Mahomes. I do think Kirk Cousins will put up points, will put up yards, but at the end of the day, if it's an offensive shootout, you're going to give me Kirk Cousins over Patrick Mahomes?
God, no.
I think not. I'll take the Chiefs to win and to cover. I think they win by a touchdown, so I'll give up the points. Game of the week, Sunday night game. The Dallas Cowboys head to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, two of the top contenders in the NFC. I'll go first on this one because there's not a lot of analysis. Cowboys are good when they're playing from ahead. They're terrible when they're in a dogfight. We spent a lot of time talking about them on this episode. 49ers win the game. They cover. I could see them winning by 10 points.
I will say if anybody knows how to slow down Shanahan, it's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn and Shanahan, spent a lot of time together at Atlanta, and it's always exciting to see their chess match play out on the field. Easy for me to say, but these two guys are expert chess players when it comes to playing football. I still think the 49ers are going to win this game. I'm going to take a -4 here, but I will say that Dan Quinn may put something together on this defense that slows them down a little bit more than you think, but I still think that the 49ers are going to prevail and pretty much embarrass the Cowboys.
All right, and for our all-in picks, if we get this one right, it's 3 additional points. I'm going all-in on the 49ers, -4. As I said, I think they can win by 10. Give me the 49ers to cover all day. Where are you going for your all-in?
You're taking a primetime game for your all-in. I respect that. You found the gonads that Ron Rivera didn't have.
Nah, that's where they were.
I'm going to take the Texans +2 as my all-in. I think this Texans team is going to be a handle for the Falcons, and I don't see any way that they don't win by 3 points or more. So,
be a handle for them? Is that an expression?
Yeah, I think so.
They might have to grab them and turn them. They're going to be a handle. I like it. I'll roll with it. All right, put it up on the board. You've got the Bears where I've got the Commanders. I've got the Eagles where you've got the Rams. And I've got the Chiefs where you've got the Vikings. I'm all in on the 49ers. You're all in on the Texans. You lead me by 1 point, but it will not be so next week, my friend. I can smell the steak cooking already. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday, recapping all of the action. Thank you guys. Have a good week.